For the record, this matter is before the court for the purpose of reviewing defendant father's parenting time. This hearing is being conducted via Zoom. Present is Attorney Leah Worka, representing plaintiff mother Jessica Fendt. Ms. Fendt is present, and the defendant father Daniel Fendt is also present. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning.
Parties have conferred this morning with Ms. Patrick from the front of the court, who has provided the court with following recommendation. That father's parenting time will continue to be suspended, and he will petition the court once he's completed the court-ordered drug and alcohol assessment, as well as a comprehensive psychiatric evaluation. I believe that was ordered back in May of 2024.
That's correct, Your Honor.
The court can only assume that Mr. Fendt has not made any progress toward that. That's the reason why the court set this review, is I hope that Mr. Fendt would be moving forward in that direction so we could reestablish some limited parenting time. Mr. Fendt, do you understand the recommendation?
I do, Your Honor.
Your response?
I have been having some major disconnects with getting in touch with the providers from prior to May, and the actual assessment and drug and alcohol evaluation and mental health assessment. I guess I just didn't quite understand exactly what was needed to be provided. And I mean, I'm sorry, I know that ignorance is not acceptable, but I genuinely just did not know. And I wasn't entirely sure as to what was needed to supply to her attorney. I thought it was just the fact that I completed the program and that there was an assessment done. I was not aware that the full assessment had to be presented to her in the court. That's what I understood from the beginning.
Have you secured an assessment, the substance abuse and
right now
assessment?
I'm currently in a intensive outpatient program that does also have a mental health and substance abuse programs. They're separate. I have talked to a nurse practitioner. I have talked to a therapist, and I am undergoing that treatment right now. I'm seeing the IOP program on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. I guess from what I understand, that it needs to be a psychiatrist. So I am seeing the nurse practitioner tomorrow, and I'm going to see if I can see their psychiatrist there, who is a PhD. Once again, I just don't know exactly what I need to provide to the court.
Well, it seems like you're moving in the right direction, Mr. Fendt. So, Mr. Work, have you received a copy of the assessment that Mr. Fendt's referring to?
Your Honor, we've received no verification or documentation of any kind from Mr. Fendt that he has engaged in or completed any form of mental health or substance abuse treatment or any evaluations. To the best of my knowledge, Your Honor, a nurse practitioner is not qualified to do a comprehensive psychiatric evaluation. Mr. Fendt has alleged that he's been in an IOP program, which again, to the best of my knowledge, is not where one would have a comprehensive psychiatric evaluation completed. So I don't believe that those have been done. He also hasn't provided any verification of the IOP attendance. Mr. Fendt has a history of making misrepresentations to this court. So absent any form of documentation, I don't have reason to believe that he's completed any sort of evaluation from anyone.
All right, thank you. So, Mr. Fendt, once you complete this program, you need to provide some documentation, the document or a report that verifies what you've done, that you've been engaged in this intensive outpatient program for 8 weeks, 12 weeks, whatever, that you successfully completed all requirements, the prognosis is good. We need some positive written reports to verify all these things. And secondly, when you meet the nurse practitioner, you need to tell her you need a full psychiatric evaluation. Some of the issues that have been raised by Ms. Fendt in the past to address those. So I guess we need two things. One, you're a alcohol and substance abuse assessment once you complete the intensive outpatient, as well as any documentation showing that you're also you're addressing mental health issues. We just want you to have a good relationship with your son Noah, and that Noah will be safe in your presence. So we can't move forward in terms of parenting time until you address those matters and get help for those issues to make sure that both you and the minor child are safe.
And so you're saying that I need to see a psychiatrist in order for that to be valid?
Yes, I believe that that'd be the appropriate person. So talk with the nurse practitioner about that. You've been sent orders in the past. In terms of, it says your parenting time should remain suspended pending proof of your alcohol and mental health treatment, in addition to a comprehensive psychiatric assessment.
I didn't have documentation. I mean, I was even asked that question yesterday by the person who runs the group if I needed any information, and I wasn't sure what to say to her in that instance. Is that something that I can provide to the court and Ms. Rorka? And is there anything we can do in that regard? I just didn't really know what to provide, to be honest with you.
Well, you take a copy of this order to your providers and tell them what you need. Again, when are you going to complete the intensive outpatient? Is that ongoing? Are you going to complete it in 6 weeks?
Yeah, it's 6 weeks. It should be done. What I was told, the week of July 8th is when I'll be finished with the IOP program. And yes, I will be definitely bringing that up to the nurse practitioner tomorrow when I see her. I'll have to look at the exact time, but I believe it's in the morning sometime. I've also brought it up to her previously. And I guess I wanted to wait and because I had the appointment on the 27th, I did want to ask the court because I thought, would that be enough? I didn't really know. Now I know it's not. So I will make sure to push that issue and get a comprehensive psych evaluation done as soon as possible. But I am moving in the direction that you're suggesting, Your Honor. I really do want to be a part of my son's life. And I do understand that this is very important, and Noah's safety is very important to me. I'm just a little bit ignorant to the way things work in this system. I'm also reaching out to an attorney to try and represent me in the future because I do not have an idea what I'm doing here. And frankly, her attorney is eating me alive here. I don't really have a lot of legs to stand on. I'm doing the best that I can.
No, you're doing the right things, Mr. Fendt. First of all, you've appeared, which is important. It shows you're interested, and the court believes in good faith. You are trying to address these issues that you perhaps just simply don't fully understand what you need. So take copies ordered to your treatment providers and talk to the nurse practitioner about getting a full psychiatric evaluation and assessment. And since you're moving forward in good faith in the right direction, the court will set this for review. We'll set it for review sometime in perhaps in August, late August. You're going to complete your intensive outpatient in July. It may take a month to get that assessment. So Ms. Patrick, the court will adopt the recommendation, but we'll give Mr. Fendt a review date so he does not need to petition the court, and hopefully he can provide that documentation to Ms. Rorka as well as the front of the court in the interim, Mr. Fendt. So you need to provide that to Ms. Rorka as well as the front of the court before we come back. So let's look for we'll put this back in our docket. You have the dates have gone. I'm thinking maybe August. Mid-August, 13th, 14th, 20th, 21st.
I'm not available for that week in August or the following. Could we look at the week of August 26th?
Okay, August 27th or 28th.
Yep, I can do the 27th.
How about August 27th, Ms. Rorka?
That works for me if the court has a morning, if possible.
About 8:30.
That works, Your Honor.
Mr. Fendt and Mr. Fendt, will that work at 8:30 in the morning, or is that not a good time? Do you want it later in the morning?
I honestly, I'll probably end up having to take the day off, so I'll make it work.
Well, we don't want you to take out time off work. When do you get off work, Mr. Fendt?
Oh, it's 2:30 in the afternoon. So I mean, if it has to be in the morning, preferably, I can do
Doesn't
that.
have to be. You get off work at 2:15.
It ranges, Your Honor. I'm in automotive, so it could be 2:30, it could be 4:30, depending on part of the launch. So
Right.
you have to take a day.
I can't do the afternoon on the 27th. I could do the afternoon on the 28th.
All right, we'll do the afternoon of the 28th then. 3 o'clock or 3:30, Mr. Fendt, what's better? We'll give you time. We'll set it for August 28th at 3:30.
I don't want to say that I can make it, and then all of a sudden my job, they could be like, you got to work till 4:30 today. You know, I would rather just take the day off and know that I'll be available for that day. And that's okay with me. I still get paid for it. I'll make sure I have them known in it. They'll know well in advance, and I'll be able to make it.
All right. Well, if you're gonna take time off, we'll leave it then August 27th at 8:30 then.
Okay. That's fine with me.
So Ms. Patrick, you just put in the date, the court will review all these matters August 27th, 2024, 8:30 a.m. via Zoom.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so we'll include that review date in the order, Mr. Fendt, and move forward. Hopefully we'll have all it in front of us so we can reinstate some parenting time at that time. All right.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor. I appreciate it.
Anything else, Ms. Worka?
Not at this time, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ms. Patrick. All right, that will conclude this here, and everyone can zoom out. We'll see everyone in August. The court recalls the matter was last adjourned for Mr. Fendt to provide the court with a complete drug and alcohol assessment as well as a psychological evaluation. The matter was adjourned to today's date, and the parties have all returned and met with the front of the court, specifically Mr. Josh Walker. Mr. Walker has recommended the matter be again adjourned to September 24th. No time.
Apologize for that. It should be 8:45 in the morning.
8:45. Okay. Ms. Duncan White, is this recommendation agreeable with your client? Do you think we'll have everything in place by then?
We are trying very hard to arrange the psychiatric comprehensive exam. We are running into massive difficulties. The only place we found that would do it will cost $6,000 to $8,000.
Wow. Was there alternatives? I mean, we just
That was what I was going to ask, Your Honor, this morning, was if you had any idea for alternatives, or if there's some place that the court works with on a regular basis. I was
do
gonna
note that
ask.
Go
I
ahead,
was-
Ms. Duncan
I was
White.
going to ask Mr. Laddie McGrill here in Wayne County to do it, but he is retired. And he is the only person I know that did these for the courts on a regular basis.
I note that the last order entered by this court references the defendant completing a comprehensive psychiatric evaluation, perhaps something less, and I don't know exactly what that means, comprehensive psychological evaluation. For example, is he involved in any mental health treatment right now with any provider?
Yes, he is.
I mean, we could even look at reports from those providers. Is it community mental health or is it a private agency?
As long as Your Honor will accept something from his therapist or someone of that equivalent, then I think we can accommodate. But we were trying very hard to live up to the exact verbiage that was in the order, and we just could not do it.
Well, any reports will give the Ms. Fendt and the court some insight. I mean, it may not be acceptable, but the court would suggest whatever documentation that your client can put together, at least is relevant.
Thank you, Your Honor. We will get on that.
And the court understands it's a pretty significant expense, $6,000 to $8,000. Yeah, in the past, the number of orders that were entered, and one order was entered, Mr. Fendt failed to appear. That was on April 17th. Well, then I think Mr. Fendt then petitioned the court, as I recall, then to reinstate.
Uh-oh.
So is Mr. Fendt currently engaged in alcohol, substance abuse, and mental health treatment?
Mental health, he was released from the place that he checked into with a clean bill of health.
Well, obviously, any discharge summaries, prognosis, is he still engaged in aftercare at this time?
He is engaged in psychological care at this time, yes.
What about aftercare, substance abuse aftercare? Outpatient?
Mr. Fendt, was any of that recommended for you?
After getting the drug and alcohol assessment, his recommendation was that I continue going to therapy, seeing my nurse practitioner on a regular basis, making sure medications are in order, and attending outside meetings such as AA, Celebrate Recovery, things of that nature. I have been going to meetings 3 times a week.
Okay.
So I think if Mr. Fendt would provide that initial report and documentation that he is following through with the recommended aftercare, those are all relevant, Ms. Duncan White. So he needs to get all that together and provide that to Ms. Rurka as well as the front of the court in this court. And then also any mental health provider. Those things are all relevant.
Great.
And the court understands, I think, obviously, we have a young child here, but it's important that we reestablish this relationship between the father and the child as soon as possible.
Absolutely.
Of course, concerned about the delay this is taking. It's taken all summer. Ms. Worker, do you have any thoughts, input on that?
Your Honor, just as a point of clarification, the request for an adjournment was made by me this morning. I was notified of a family emergency just as I was logging into court this morning. And Mr. Fendt and Ms. Duncan White agreed to accommodate that under the circumstances. I would say that just in light of the statements that have been made this morning, Mr. Fendt has routinely throughout the course of this proceeding indicated that he's been in different forms of treatment and alleged that he's been receiving mental health or substance abuse treatment, but has not provided verification of that other than just his own statements. And so at a minimum, we would need to see some verification of whatever it is that he is claiming that he is doing at this time. As far as the psychological evaluation and the cost, our understanding is that Mr. Fendt at some point in the past had that evaluation done at the University of Michigan, which was in network for his insurance. And to the best of our knowledge, his insurance provider has not changed. But that's something that I'm happy to discuss with Ms. Duncan White between now and the review hearing, if there's some barrier or request for an alternative that's made. But at this point, my clients received no verification that Mr. Fendt has been participating in any treatment. There's been some very concerning social media posts and messages to my client in app close just as recently as within the last couple of days. So that would not indicate to us that whatever level of care he is receiving is adequate to manage his mental health and substance abuse concerns.
All right, thank you, Ms. Roca. So, Ms. Duncan White, we welcome your involvement to assist Mr. Fendt in getting the documentation together. And you may want to suggest, Mr. Fendt, that he shoot himself in the foot when people engage in social media comments. There's simply no purpose served in that other than creating problems for himself. So in any event, with that, whatever documentation you get together, the court will certainly look at it, Ms. White, and also discuss with your client if you had an evaluation from the University of Michigan a number of years back and covered by insurance, maybe can pursue that same route. In any event, the court will adjourn this matter to September 24th then at 8:38. What, I'm sorry, 8:45, was that the time?
Correct.
8:45. All right, with that, everyone can zoom out. Have a good rest of the day.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Welcome.
All the best, Julia.
Thank you very much.